Lots more room in the dash. Everything is tucked back and up, out of the way, nice and loose. We have 2 screws in holding it in place right now. We re-insulated the base knob here. If you saw it in the beginning, it was all exposed and looking pretty nasty. What we want to do is a couple tests. And those tests are comprised of a polarity test, 1, 2, 3, 4, check the sound in all 4 corners test, and then get to some of the functionality like steering wheel controls and stuff like that. It's something you have to do anytime you put a radio in. These are focals, and that typically means that the mid bass will be positive, the tweeter will be negative. So we should see a green light on the bottom and a red light on the top. We see that all 4 locations, golden. Before we do that, we're gonna play some pink noise. That's that speaker there, that speaker there, those in the back, and thankfully those over there. So that means all 4 corners are doing what they're supposed to, yay. And also you may want to put your ear next to the speakers and make sure they're all making sound. Most of the time when you do a component like this, you can tell if there's a tweeter working or not, but sometimes it might not, especially at low volumes. We have 2 greens, 2 reds, green, green, red, red, green, green, red, 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 green. So for those of you that are going, what the heck was that? That's a PT9A Plus and it's a polarity checker. What that means is it's checking the direction that the speaker is moving so that we make sure they're going the direction we want. Green means it moves out, red means it moves in. It all has to do with the way the crossover is designed and why this is one way and the other way. We don't have time for that. The next is to make sure that the buttons on the steering wheel are doing what they're supposed to do. If we get volume down, volume up. What's the weather like today?
Expect cloudy skies.
All right, so those are doing what we need them to do. Now those are some of the basic tests that we do. Right now we have our phone plugged into the radio cable. It's not plugged into the dash, but we did modify the existing USB to fit it. Fernando made this with the USB-C mount in it using that pack piece that we talked about earlier, and that went right into there, and now the USB-C is located in the sink, and that's gonna go here. Plan now is to finish screwing the radio in, get the dash all put back together, get the running boards on, get these C-pillars back in, basically just put the whole car back together again, minus the back seat. We're gonna leave the back seat out, and also I have to cut that back piece of carpet over this so that we can quieten the back of this down. Once we get that done, then it's time to tune, which for you is gonna be right now. And the car is back together, and it's tune time, as I said. We remove all of the coverings and stuff like that when we're tuning the car. They don't need to be in there. They're not gonna be in there. When we're doing a tune, like a proper tune with an RT and all that, there's no one sitting in the car until the very end. There's no tools or anything like that. But it's important to put the car back together as much as possible before you do the tune to put it back in its natural state. Put the seats back where they belong and all that. Now for this, we are not going to be putting the back seat in until the very end because, like I said, it's got all these analog switches on the K2s that I really want to play with because it's been years since I've done a passive system with these crossovers, and I remember years ago when we did one, we had some amazing results by making those adjustments, which means we're going to do that today. I'm going to shut this up, hop inside, let's listen to some stuff. With balance and fader and polarity checked, I know everything is where it needs to be. The first thing I adjust on an aftermarket radio is the time alignment section. This is a Kenwood, which is really cool because it gives you level control for each channel as well as delay. It sets a little bit different than, let's say, a DSP. It's almost backwards in how it works, which I'm going to show you. First thing I'd like to say is that Kenwood, as well as everyone else, has some presets, meaning you can set it for driver, you can set it for light, whatever. And they're not bad, and sometimes they actually work. And if they do, leave it alone. Let it do its thing. There's no reason to touch it. In this case, because it's a truck and it's so wide, it's not working out of the box, which is okay. We're going to do it manually. My practice for doing it manually is to fade it all the way to the front first. I'm going to play polarity pops, and I'm going to listen for the pop to move across the dash until it seems like it's in the center. I'm going to fade it to the rear, and I'm going to repeat the process, looking forward until it sounds like the pop is coming from between the 2 seats. And then I'll fade it back to the middle and listen to it again and make some minor adjustments if I need to. You can use level control control as well. So once you get it to where you think it is, you start playing music and you're like, man, it's a little off. I can use level control to turn certain things down if I'd like to. This is a quick and easy way to set it up without busting out the tape measure and all that for just a radio, which sometimes the tape measure really doesn't make sense in these because it is backwards and you usually get it wrong. Let's get started. I'm going to start by adding distance to the front right. You'll notice it's going to be adding milliseconds of delay to the left front as well as all the other speakers. Fade it to the rear once you have what you think is the best, and then start adding to the passenger rear. In this case, I adjusted the level on the rear passenger door because that tweeter is so close to me and it's kind of messing with the mid bass, which is causing me to add way more delay than is actually necessary. Because when you look at these feet, they should be similar to what it is in real life. When you're happy, go back to your fader, put it in the center, see how it sounds, and make minor adjustments if needed. Once I have it, how I feel it sounds the best, I'm gonna play the left, center, right. I get these tracks from the Sheffield Labs My Disc. That one does have copyright on it though, so you'll just have to go to your My Disc Sheffield Labs and you can take a listen to it.
In the center of
in that track, what you're listening for is the female voice should sound like she's coming from the center area of your dash. Left and right are coming from their corresponding corners. So if you feel like you have it the way it needs to be, but she's still off a little bit, go into level and adjust the level. The other thing that's nice about this Kenwood is you can see it has these tweeter adjustments. Sometimes the tweeters are a little too hot. You can go in and turn them down here. It's a really nice feature when fine tuning to get delay, especially with a passive system. And that's the fun part of setting the alignment. The next part is the actual EQ. For that, we use Pink Noise. We get that from Educar's Test and Tune app on the iPhone. The Test and Tune app is pretty awesome. That's Educar Test and Tune. You can find it in the App Store. It has an unlimited amount of pink noise. So when you're tuning a car for 2 hours, it just plays for 2 hours. It's wonderful. It also has test tones, which come in very handy. So it has the 40, the 1000. It has two others, a mid bass and a mid range. And they're all selectable between 0, -5, -10. It's very helpful. We're gonna be using the iTest mic with an older iPad. However, if you have a newer iPad, the U-Test mic is cheaper and comes with a longer cable. Very awesome. You can get them through Audio Control or Studio 6. There's links to them in DNF tool drawer, by the way. Play the pink noise. We'll go to the EQ page. If you notice right now, there is no low end because the subwoofer is off. I can add that in as needed. I'm more concentrating on this portion of the RTA here. And looking at it, I'm missing out on some tweeter, which I can make an adjustment on the passives. I'm gonna do that to fix it before I start playing with my EQ. That's a little better. When you get done playing with the EQ and you kind of have an idea of the visual aspect of it, it's okay to use your ears at this point. And what I like to do is select memory, make a preset, and now I'm going to A/B between flat and this and all the others on the radio and see what adjustments I might need to make to this so that I have a reference for what is sounding good and sounding bad. These adjustments look good on that, but they don't necessarily sound the best. For that, I'm gonna play some music, which is all gonna be not DRM free. So play some of your music and do the same thing. And that, as they say, is that. This one is done. Fernando, what do you think?
I like it.
I like it. This 911 is over. We fixed the problems. We put it back together after we took it apart and put it back together again. Yeah, there's a lot of taking apart and putting back together in a 911. As you've seen in this video, it's a lot of pre-work and then the actual work can start. And in this case, it's all pretty. It's all back together. Everything is the way it should be. The world is right once more. Yay! Fernando.
On to the next one, guys.
You guys have a great night as always. We hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all that fun YouTube stuff that you're supposed to do while here. See you later.
Bye, guys.
Good night. Go. Be gone. We're tired, man. It's been a long couple days.